So I'm not going to be talking about the Bruce Willis film, The Kid from 2000. I've been talking about a different film called The Kid that was released in the year 2000. It was made in 1997 but released in 2000, and it is an extremely obscure Canadian family film. And I do remember being a little kid long before the days of streaming services. Driving Classics was just a regular TV channel like almost any other. They would show things like Claire's House of Frightenstein and Baywatch, and you may remember seeing Driving Classics on your Roku. But yeah, way back when I was a little kid, that was just a regular TV channel. One of the more common films that they would show was this particular thing called The Kid. I wound up developing a little bit of an interest in it after having well over 20 years of having zero interest in this through finding out exactly who's in it. It does have some names and some faces and some voices even that will kind of make the viewer be like, oh, that's kind of cool. But unfortunately, the movie itself really isn't. This is not a good movie, but it's a kind of it's kind of worth seeing just what some prolific Canadian Canadian stars did back in the 90s. In a nutshell, The Kid is Rocky meets the Karate Kid. There you have it. This 13-year-old named Jimmy Albright, who's played by Jeff Saulnier, has an undying passion for boxing, and he and his mentor, who's played by the big star Rod Steiger, is his near elderly trainer. And what Jimmy wants to do is just be the best and conquer all challenges. But unfortunately, there's lots of obstacles in his way, and he must overcome all the obstacles. Been there, done that. What I just described, the storyline of this, how many other sports films were you thinking of while I was saying that? One of the reasons this movie is so forgotten is it is so run-of-the-mill. At least with other run-of-the-mill sports movies, they're able to either break new ground or elevate, and they're able to make something so ridiculous, so wild, that you just can't help but to just be glued to the screen. But unfortunately, The Kid isn't like that. What ultimately propelled my interest in seeing The Kid was when I found out who's in this. The lead of the film, Jeff Saulnier, he's not a good actor. I don't know what else he's ever done, but yeah, he was probably the weak part of the film, as he's probably the worst actor of the film. But seeing Rod Steiger in this, that was cool. I do like Rod Steiger. I've seen quite a few of his movies, and he's just brilliant in them. And it's also got Bruce Dinsmore, who voiced Arthur's dad and Binky Barnes on the show Arthur. And it's got Daniel Brochu, who voiced Buster in Arthur. So seeing two longtime voices of Arthur in a real life live action thing, I was like, well, that's kind of fun to see. Yeah, Daniel Brochu does a really good job in this, but I just thought that he should have been in more of the film. Should have featured more of him. Yeah, as I said, the movie is very, very run-of-the-mill, and it does try to explore new territory when looking at parental impact that things have on their children. So Jimmy Albright has an undying passion for boxing, but because he's in his early teens, it's very, very different than what you would see Rocky Balboa do. And his parents don't understand that. They don't understand where he's coming from. They don't understand how much he loves the thing. They're too worried about him getting hurt, and they forbid him to box. So of course he does things behind their back. And the subplot in this with Todd Fennell and Bruce Dinsmore is he plays Jimmy's best friend, and he hates boxing, but his dad, who is Bruce Dinsmore, is forcing him into boxing, and it's really taking a toll on him. So that subplot with Todd Fennell and Bruce Dinsmore is the best part of the film. And when I was watching that, of course, I could really relate to that subplot. And as things were progressing with that bit, I was actually liking the film. But unfortunately, that's not what the whole movie is about. Okay. It's just a side thing. The movie centers in on Jimmy Albright trying to win respect of his parents and win matches with the mentorship of Rod Steiger. Yeah, I think that if the movie is centered in on Todd Fennell and Bruce Dinsmore, it would have been a lot better. Because frankly, that's not really that popular of a storyline to have. But the main plot with Jimmy Albright, how many times has that been done before? Yeah, the movie, I guess it's kind of a wasted opportunity, but it was in the 90s, and I guess you could say that this was just a way to keep people working, to keep things going, possibly see if they could do something good unexpectedly, whatever. So yeah, on the whole, not that good of a film, and I don't think that has sucked, but it still is something that the only reason I have it on DVD is because I found it one day at one of my favorite video stores, and prolific sake, whatever. And also, it's cool seeing some of these familiar faces and voices. So I feel like giving The Kid from 1997 2 stars out of 4. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again next time.